What we learn today doesn't make yesterday wrong. It makes tomorrow better. With this thought, I wish all of you a very fantastic, awesome good morning. Welcome to your science class. Recently we have covered up our chapter push and pull now. And in that chapter we know about the push and pull as well as force. Like look at this boy. That boy pushes that ball so that that ball moves forward from him, as well as applying force. If that boy applying force, then only that ball moves forward, and that one is the pushing process. Okay. But if that boy apply more force, that ball moves forward as a long distance. You can say, when we apply more force, that object moves more to the more distance. As well as that trolley, that person moves that trolley. When that person moves that trolley towards himself, then that one is called what? Pulling. And away from him, that one is known as pushing. So we can say when we apply the force, that pulling and pushing process going on. Okay? That girl move that chair from herself now. That one is a pushing process. That box is also moved from there. The pushing process with the help of the force. But ever think, yes, we apply force, that object moves. But there is another thing also, which is works, so that that object moves. Like look at here, that car. There are three surfaces given now. There are three surfaces given. Single surface is very much rough, and that the second one is quite less, and the third one is smoother. Okay, and that boy moves that car on the first rough surface. But it's quite problematic to move that car on the rough surface. Why? Why this happens? Why that car will not move very easily? It's quite go for the short period of time and then stop. And after that, that boy is also moved that car on the lesser rough surface, and that moves but not very faster. Show here. That boy moves that car but not move very faster, we can say. And in the third surface, which is very much smoother, that car moves very frequently, very faster, we can say. So in this picture, we can say any object moves very faster in the smoother surface. Why this happens? After that, we can say that box, that box moves, as well as that ball is also moves. Why all these things moves, sometimes very faster, sometimes very slower? Why this happens? Anyone have any idea about this? Friction. Because of the friction. When the friction is lesser, then that ball, that thing, we can say, moves very easily. But if the friction is lesser, that object is not moves very easily, we can say. Okay? And that friction is only applying on the opposite direction of the movement, we can say. Opposite direction of the movement. Like this box, you just show here now, that box moves, and the friction is the opposite direction from this box. As well as that rider. he is cycling here, na? All of you show here that rider cycling here. Why the rider is cycling here very smoothly? Because of the friction. There is a friction in between the tire as well as the road also. है ना? The friction occurs and which is opposite to the movement, so that cycle moves forward, but that rider is not slipped. But when that friction is lesser, that rider fallen down. है ना? So we can say the friction is in the opposite direction, and when that friction is lesser, we are also going to slip, and it is done on the opposite direction of the movement of any object. Got it? In a space, all of you show na, everything is moved everywhere. है ना? Ever think over this? Why this happens? Because there is no any friction at all. है ना? So that all the things just move everywhere. Look at here. है ना? That object is moved. Okay? After that, look at that girl. That girl just walk on the snow. Or all of you know about this, that snow is very slippery, we can say. Why? All of the people are just slipped down. Because of the less friction. You know? That friction of that snow, we can say. There is a very less friction. So that girl fallen down. But in some cases, the less friction required. You know? Like, look at that small kid. He just want to enjoy the swimming pool, hai na? And he just slipped down from that trolley. Okay? So he was want to slip down so that there is a less friction required, na? So that he slipped down, na? And enjoy the swimming. As well as skittle ball game. In a skittle ball game, when we throw that ball and that ball is just move very smoothly, very faster, and then only hit that objects. Okay? So there is a less friction required also. Hai na? As well as carom. All of you always play the carom, na? And in carom we apply some powder or some extra things for the smoother of our surface of the carom board, so that the tighter things are just go very easily, very smoothly, we can say. Look at that. So in carom board, we want to make a smoother surface. And when that, look at that man, there is a rough surface, so that is quite problematic to move that object, we can say. And in this car in between the tire as well as the road, there is a friction, which is opposite to the movement, and there is a friction so that the car smoothly run, smoothly run on anywhere, but the cars, there is some scratches on the car, but when that car is smoother, the tires are smoother, that one is quite hazardous for this car. Okay? Cloths, look at these cloths. Some cloths are smoother, so that they are just slipped down from our hand. Some are rough, so that they are staying. So look at that cloth. This one is also very smoother, so that is slipped down from the hand of that man, we can say. So finally, we can say that friction is there. When we walk, we do anything. Friction is a contact force, we can say, which is applied when the two objects come into their own contact, we can say. As well as that if the friction is lesser, the surface is smoother, then it's quite problematic to walk or do anything, but sometimes it's required. Okay? as well as that friction is in the opposite direction of the movement. So all these things we are just knowing about our upcoming chapter, which is chapter 12, friction we can say, and this is all about this chapter. And in our next video we will discuss all these things, all the topics one by one on the board. Okay, probably all of you are just getting some idea about this chapter. Have a grateful day, everyone.